Many people in your position, Mr. Whitworth, would be running for the hills at this point, because since April, you all have faced a lot of incoming. How and why did it go so off the rails? Because that certainly wasn't your intention when you did one can to one person.
It's been a challenging few weeks, and I think the conversation surrounding Bud Light has moved away from beer, and the conversation has become divisive.
So welcome back. Since this Bud Light boycott started, this man has never spoken up. He has never said a word pertaining to what is going on. He recently had this interview with CBS Mornings, and he lamented, blamed Republicans for what is happening. I don't know if you have seen this video. It is going viral like never before. According to this tweet, Anheuser-Busch CEO Brendan was on CBS Mornings and lamented the conversation has become divisive. Co-host Tony, of course, blamed Republicans on the conservative political agenda and asked if he would do it again.
Many people in your position, Mr. Whitworth, would be running for the hills at this point, because since April, you all have faced a lot of incoming. How and why did it go so off the rails? Because that certainly wasn't your intention when you did one can to one person.
It's been a challenging few weeks, and I think the conversation surrounding Bud Light has moved away from beer, and the conversation has become divisive. And Bud Light really doesn't belong there. Bud Light should be all about bringing people together. And there's been impact on the business, and I think that's publicly covered on Bud Light specifically.
Yeah, so what was your intention? Take us to the beginning. What was your intention? What were you all trying to do here? And you've done this before, these promotional campaigns.
Yeah, it was, just to be clear, it was a gift, and it was one can. But for us, you know, as we look to kind of the future and we look to moving forward, we have to understand the impact that it's had. And like I said, you know, that impact has taken place. But it's the impact on our employees, the impact on our consumers, and as well the impact on our partners. And I think one thing that I'd love to make extremely clear is that impact is my responsibility. And as the CEO, everything we do here, I'm accountable for.
Given the moment we're in, this moment in America with trans issues at the top of a Republican social or conservative political agenda, knowing what you know now, if you could go back, would you send this can to this one person again?
There's a big social conversation taking place right now, and big brands are right in the middle of it. And it's not just our industry or Bud Light. It's happening in retail. It's happening in fast food. And so for us, what we need to understand is, deeply understand and appreciate, is the consumer and what they want, what they care about, and what they expect from big brands.
Just when I thought these people would learn from the massive boycott, it is like they are not backing down despite the laws. According to this article, Anheuser-Busch CEO says his company will continue to support the LGBTQ community. Going down the article, Anheuser-Busch will continue to support the LGBT community despite backlash over a Bud Light advertising campaign featuring a transgender influencer that has simmered for nearly 3 months. CEO Brendan said Wednesday Bud Light should be all about bringing people together, he told CBS Mornings. I think the conversation surrounding Bud Light has moved away from beer and the conversation has become divisive. Others said, and Bud Light belongs there. The parent company of Bud Light drew criticisms from conservative activists and consumers for hiring transgender social media influencer Dylan for a promotional March Madness campaign. Bud Light, it is among a host of brand names being targeted by conservative activists and lawmakers for their support of Pride, team event, and merchandise, including Destiny and Doja and Target. You have recently seen what is going on until Bud Light sales continue to drop down. When this boycott started, some people said it has no impact. It would last for just a few days and it would die down gradually. But till date, it is still affecting this company like never before. Going down this art, many Bud Light customers are responded negatively to comment made by Vice President of Marketing Alisa on a recent podcast that include calling on the brand to be more inclusive. Brendan sidestepped a question about whether the Movena campaign was a mistake. There is a big social conversation taking place right now, and big brands are right in the middle of it. And it's not just our industry or Bud Light. He said it is happening in retail, happening in fast food. And so, for us, what we need to understand deeply understand and appreciate it is the consumers and what they want, what they care about, and what they expect from big companies. Bud Light lost its top spot in the US beer market to Modelo last month as sales lagged following the uproar over a partnership with Dylan. The hit to this business marks one of a few times in recent years that online backlash has led to a notable and sustained slump for a major brand. I'm glad they are struggling to even point out this, though these people are not even willing to make it clear that this boycott affected them. And I was told recently that the marketing VP was officially fired. She's not part of this company again. They tempted that she is on leave. So we thought maybe after a few weeks she'll be going back. But he still cannot acknowledge that this was a mistake. From this interview, it's like they are not ready to do the right thing. Who knows? People might continue to boycott the company because sometimes when situations like this are happening, you need to take precautions, to avoid a kind of backlash like this. He said it clear. Bud Light is not the only company witnessing this. We know.
You're the first woman to lead this brand in its 40-year history. This is the largest beer brand in the industry. What does that mean to you? And when you think about your own impact and your own legacy, what do you want that to be, especially when you think about at work, but also outside of work? So many women who are interacting with you and watching your career, and you're raising a daughter. What do you want your impact to be?
I think being the first woman to lead Bud Light, the biggest beer brand kind of in the world, it's been it's humbling, and I'm incredibly grateful. It's taken kind of 41 years for a woman to be in this spot. And I think it's sometimes helpful to just sort of recognize that this is the spot. Like, this is where I think I had maybe even dreamed of being in some kind of position like this. And so kind of being happy in the here and now is a part of what I'm trying to kind of draw joy and energy from. And particularly, it's an interesting dynamic as a woman in a very male